I must emphasize the gravity of the situation. It's vital to the United States and to every other nation that the lives of diplomatic personnel and other citizens abroad be protected, and that we refuse to permit the use of terrorism and the seizure and the holding of hostages to impose political demands. No one should underestimate the resolve of the American government and the American people in this matter. It is necessary to eliminate any suggestion that economic pressures can weaken our stand on basic issues of principle. Our position must be clear. I am ordering that we discontinue purchasing of any oil from Iran for delivery to this country.
1979 was a year full of angst, to say the least. The Iranian hostage crisis tormented the minds of Americans for almost a year and 3 months, beginning November 4th, 1979, and ending January 20th, 1981. To make this year even worse, we experienced the second of the two major oil crises of the 70s.
America had always maintained friendly ties with the Shah up until he had left Iran and entered the United States seeking medical help for his cancer. The Shah was the leader of the Iranians and was responsible for a country that was similar to America. However, because of this, many Iranians disliked his leadership, sparking riots all over the country. When this man entered the United States for the hospitalization for his cancer, new political leaders led by Ayatollah Khamenei took over with different views from the U.S. These people are extremely religious and against American beliefs. Ayatollah Khamenei considered America as the great Satan and influenced many Iranians to believe this.
Think of when we were together.
On January 4th, 1979, influenced by the Shah entering the United States, 300 to 500 Iranian students raided the U.S. Embassy in Iran and took 66 government employees hostage. However, their intentions were not to hurt these people, as they let women, African Americans, the sick, and the injured go a few days later. Over the span of 444 days, the rest of the hostages were held by the angry mob. This created a tough presidency for Jimmy Carter. Faced with a difficult ordeal, Carter immediately tried to negotiate with the kidnappers by placing economic sanctions and applying pressure toward the Iranian government. However, none of these tactics worked, so Carter resorted to canceling all imports with Iran. After the U.S. canceled imports, other countries stopped buying oil from Iran as well. Because of this, America had hit the second of the oil crisis of the 70s. Gas prices rose in America, and we began to see lines form outside gas stations once again. Oil output began to drop at a rapid rate and had gone from 6 million barrels a day to 1.5 million barrels a day. Americans began to panic, creating another crisis during the already difficult Iran hostage crisis.
President Carter issued Operation Eagle Claw in an attempt to free the hostages in Iran. It was a complete failure, however. Shortly after 7 p.m., 8 helicopters embarked on the mission, but after a few mishaps, only 5 helicopters remained operational. These mishaps were due to motor blade issues as well as sandstorms that were formed by the desert. It was when the helicopters tried refueling that everything went totally wrong. One of the helicopters and refueling jets caught on fire, abandoning the mission. When the Iranians found out about this ordeal, they moved the hostages across the country to protect them from any further attacks. It wasn't until January 20th, 1981 that the Iranians released the hostages. This is quite ironic because it was also the day that Ronald Reagan took office. So people began to wonder and question, were the Iranians just playing with Carter?